I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. The air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. And we sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman, because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value. So, I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
Oh, God. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is the 615th episode of the Political Spotlight. How are you all doing this wonderful evening? I am tired. Ladies and gentlemen, I am tired. I've been awake since basically this time last night. It's been a long last 24 hours. I've been doing all kinds of work. I've been looking at some things connected to the election. I've been looking at some stuff going on at some statewide races. We've got some really, really, really big news politically. That is the former mayor, very popular mayor of Indianapolis, Greg Ballard, Republican, has entered the chat. He's now entered the race for Indiana Secretary of State. He'll be running against Diego Morales. He will be running against whoever the Democrats are. They got a couple whack jobs running for I think maybe just Destiny Wells. I don't really know. Oh, no. Never mind. Yeah, maybe Destiny Wells. I don't know if she is or not, but Bobai, Democrat Bobai. But the interesting news here is that the former mayor of Indianapolis, Greg Ballard, must be making some people nervous because the Republican state party and a lot of local fingers of the Republican Party, local county parties are sending out messages reminding their party people that they are not allowed to support, endorse, or vote for Greg Ballard, even though he's given his life to the Republican Party and he's been a Republican candidate successfully for multiple terms. Because he's now running as an independent, people are being told that if you would vote for him, if you would support him, if you would donate money to him, if you just even breathe his name, you will quite likely be found to be a Republican in bad standing. And I know, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get to the topic of the show, the follow-up, more Henry County Sheriff's Department jail videos. of the Gulley incident. We are going to get to that. But this is the political spotlight, and we do politics here. And sometimes we have to talk about multiple things. We're going to get to that. And the whole focus of the show is going to be Henry County. But I do want to make sure that I put this forward here because I want to make sure that we have no confusion when anyone is looking at me or having any assumptions. I want to make sure that everyone is aware that I have a First Amendment right that was given to me the moment that God snapped his fingers or blinked his eyes or his nose or whatever he does or whatever he has and brought me into existence when I was born. Thank God, an American citizen here in Indiana. I was given my First Amendment right. Couldn't speak then, but I was given straight right then, and I still have that First Amendment right today, and I want to make sure that people are aware that I have that right. And so I issued a statement to our Republican chairman, Tim Overton, here, and we'll see where this goes. So I said, I sent this out to Tim and several Delaware County Republicans. I said, I, Kristopher H. Bilbrey, first and foremost, a follower of Christ and a child of the one true God, as an American, a Hoosier, and a proud conservative Republican, make this right-leaning libertarian Republican or Republican libertarian, you know what I mean, make this statement openly and without apology to Tim Overton and to all other members of the Delaware County Republican Party, the Indiana Republican Party, and the National Republican Party. I offer the following statement. I view Tim Overton and many others as conservatives in bad standing, and therefore as Republicans who do not align with the principles and the values of a true conservative Republican, that they should uphold. I consider them to be Republicans in bad standing. The Republican Party belongs to the people who believe in and strive to uphold the principles of the Republican Party and of conservative ideology. It does not belong to a few insiders who think that they own it. As a candidate for a Republican delegate in the upcoming 2026 Indiana Republican Convention, I want to make the following perfectly clear. I am 100% supportive of Republican Greg Ballard, who is running as an independent in the upcoming 2026 Indiana Secretary of State election. I will openly support and advocate for him. I will donate to his campaign. If that's needed, I will vote for him without hesitation or apology. Furthermore, I will support any candidate who demonstrates integrity, courage, and upholds the values that I believe align with my beliefs of the Constitution and conservatism, which I believe fall into Republican principles. If a Republican candidate proves to be a poor fit or a weak representative of the party, I will not hesitate to oppose them and support someone more qualified. Let there be no confusion. My loyalty lies with principles, not with party insiders or political gatekeepers or anyone that believes that they have the right to decide who can or cannot participate in the American political process. I possess a God-given, constitutionally protected First Amendment right to speak freely, and I intend to exercise that right without fear, without apology, and without seeking anyone's permission. Kristopher H. Bilbrey, conservative, 3/4/2026. Forgot what year it was there for a minute. Stick that in your pipe and smoke it, or up your ass, whichever one feels good for you. So that's where we stand. Okay, I just had to get that out of the water, and I'm sure later this week we'll be talking about all of that. We'll be diving into some more political talk. Tonight, however, ladies and gentlemen, we have to get back to the topic at hand. And I've been getting inundated with people with questions about the incident with Gulley. I've been being inundated with the people talking to me about the newspaper article that was in the Courier Times today. Can't believe I had to spend money on this rag, but I did. We have it. I actually have it in my hand. And we're going to go through this. We're going to talk about it. And we're going to look at what's going on. And we're going to do what we have to do. Just so everyone's aware, more or less the talk is that we're going to be returning to the Henry County Jail for another exclusive look at more security video or footage capturing Nicholas Gulley II during his incarceration from Friday, January 9th through Sunday, January 18th, 2026. You're not going to want to miss this. This video is important. While it might not show things that we think that it should show or that we would want it to show, and there might be questions about things, I'm going to walk you through this. So while this show might not necessarily be as long as some of the last, it might not be a 2.5 hour long show. It's going to be a lengthy show, and if you're here now and you're concerned and you care about what's going on with Gulley and what's happening and what we're trying to learn and what we're trying to uncover, you're going to want to stay to the end. And so if you can't watch it in one setting, that's fine. Please remember to come back to it and definitely watch all of this, because you're not going to want to take any of this out of context, and you're not going to want to watch just one part of this. You're going to need the entire explanation of what I have to say about this for this to all make sense the way that it is intended to. Did the use of force against Gulley cross the line into brutality, causing injuries and illness that ultimately and untimely caused his death? And or was the Henry County Sheriff's Department negligent in their duty to keep Gulley safe and address medical issues? And did that negligence contribute to his death? We're going to hope to answer that. Maybe we won't be able to answer that this evening. We might not be able to answer that next month. We might not be able to answer that next year. But we're going to be digging into this as long as we can, hopefully following what goes on with the legal process. I believe as of right now, fingers crossed, we're going to have Mark Nicholson on Sunday. So that will be Sunday the 8th. And Mark Nicholson, ladies and gentlemen, is a friend of the show. We're becoming friends. We haven't known each other for years and years and years, contrary to Sheriff Sproul's belief. Somebody that we are growing close to, over our communications of the last several months, maybe the last year. But it's it's a new budding relationship. And so that's what's happening. We're going to have him on. We're going to talk about his story, hopefully. And then we're going to talk about some of the other situations that have been going on in Henry County, and then use as much time as we can to hopefully talk about as much as we will be permitted to talk about, reference the Gulley situation, because he is representing the Gulley lawsuit. He's representing Nick's mother, Amanda, and the family in their pursuit for justice for Nick. So please, I don't really ever ask that you concern yourselves with commenting if you don't care to do that. But today I ask you, please, above and beyond everything else, please, if you are so willing and you're able to put in the hashtag justice for Nick, that would be fantastic. I want to put this out everywhere. I want to spread this. Help spread this episode. Help spread episode number 2. Hit the like button to help the algorithm. Help communicate with us and share the show so more and more people can see it. I have put in both of the descriptions In the description in episode 612, which was the first video from last Friday, where we went through all the videos. And then I put in this video the links to each other show. So that's like a part 1 and a part 2. So in part 1, 612, I put a link to this episode. And in this episode description, I put a link to the other one, 612. And so back and forth, so people can go in there and watch that. So if you share one or the other link or both, they will both contain the opposite link, so people can see both of them. And you're going to want to watch both of these links and all the videos together to get like the fuller picture and to kind of understand. So here's the deal. We looked at the videos last time, and we're gonna go back and look at a couple of those later on here in a minute, just to kind of look back at a couple of things. But we're going to really start out focusing with this video, and then we're going to go into this newspaper article that was in the Courier Times from today. So if you recall, during the last episode where we talked about the videos, episode 612, I was missing video of the visitation. And this is something, ladies and gentlemen, that has really been a thorn in my side, because I've wanted to see the visitation. Because from the beginning, and I'm going to lay this out as it is, and then you're going to have to understand, like I said, you're going to have to listen to the whole episode to get where I'm going with this. I've been told from the very beginning that the visitation was bad. That, well, just as I've said from the very start, I was told that Nick was arrested for trespass on Friday the 9th, that he was booked into the jail, and that something happened on Sunday the 11th, and a use of force incident occurred between COs and Nick on the 11th. And then the girlfriend went to visit him around 3:30, 4:30 sometime on Monday the 12th. And the reason that was a big thing was because people from the jail were calling to their family members and saying, hey, you need to reach out to Nick Gulley's family and let them know something's going on. He's laying in here and he's moaning. He's kind of crying and saying that he's not, I mean, I am not trying to make him out to be like a little bitch or anything. I'm just saying, like, he was hurt and he was crying. He was in pain. And, you know, we've all been there. And so he's moaning, he's hurting, he's something's not right, and he knows it's not right. He knows it's not right. And it seemed like other inmates knew that it wasn't right. The only people that apparently didn't know was apparently the COs and the nurse staff, or I don't know what was going on there. And so I was told that the girlfriend went to meet him on the 12th and that he needed to be assisted to the visitation portal, and that the COs needed to help prop him up, and that he then ended the visitation early, and the COs then needed to help him back to the room. We've watched the video, and we've seen the video of the overhead. And if you just want my honest to God's opinion, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the absolute worst, 10 being Rodney King and George Floyd, you know, just absolute beat down, horrible, and 1 being a regular law enforcement greeting, hello, hi, hope everything's okay. On a scale of 1 to 10, the overhead video, in my opinion, while it was bad, absolutely bad, definitely worse with the sound, I'm going to say it was like a 4. I'm going to say it was a 4. Now, that doesn't mean that it wasn't a brutal takedown, a brutal beating. Doesn't mean it wasn't bad. I'm just saying what it looked like from the top. However, when you're able to see it from the vantage point of CO Moore's body cam, that it elevates it. It elevates it, and it's more like a 6, a 7, you know, and it takes it up, okay? And we get to see, and this is important, we get to see the knee of Sergeant Wyan on the back of Nick Gulley, okay? We get to see all of that. We get to hear what's going on. We get to see them twerking his arms and pushing him down and lifting him up and everything that was going on. And it looked bad. And they get him up, and then they push him down again, okay, and beat and tug and pull on him. Then they get him up again, and they walk him to medical. And it was what it was. Then we see the video of Nick. We hear him moaning. We hear him saying, just a minute, just a minute. And we hear them saying, just put one foot in front of the other. And then we get to see them dragging him from the med cell to the padded cell, and going by what jail commander Captain Stacy Guffey said, when he's put in the padded cell, he's stripped naked, totally naked from head to toe, put in a padded cell, and given a paper smock. And those were the words of Stacy Guffey. I have a lot of people saying, well, it looked like he was put in the turtle suit. It looked like he was put in this and that. Okay, all I can tell you is what Stacy Guffey told me, that he was put in a paper smock. They have a green paper smock, and that he was given a green wool blanket. And the reason he was given they have a wool blanket is because it's harder to roll the wool blanket up to make it small enough to hang yourself. First of all, there's nothing to hang yourself on in the padded room, but that the thing that people are saying is the turtle suit is the wool blanket. But Guffey's words to me were that he was put in a green paper smock. That's what Guffey said. I can just only go by what he's telling me. So we saw that, and then we see when the EMS come to the jail, and they go in, they get him. We don't really see much movement, and they cart him away. And they cart him away several hours before we originally were told that he was carted away, and he's taken to the hospital, and he's deteriorating there, and he's deteriorating just more and more and more and more, deteriorating, and to the point that he is finally lifelined to St. V's in Indianapolis, and he was on life support in ICU for all of that time until, sadly and unfortunately, he passes away at about 3 till 6 on Friday, February 27th, 2026. We hear statements coming out from John Sproles saying that he was never beat on, that this was a gentle use of force issue, and that nothing happened to him. We hear statements from the newspaper saying that Sergeant Wyans never put his knee on them. That what they saw was that he straddled Gulley, and we just know that is not true. We know that's not true. Okay, so I don't really know what those people are thinking. Randy Howard had put out, a candidate for sheriff, put out a couple times that this incident seemed like it was not as serious as what we once thought. He makes some kind of comment in a post of that. While I'm saying that the overhead might not be as bad as what people allegedly initially thought it was, or, just from my point of view, that's just one little piece to the puzzle. I'm saying overall, the situation is bad. When you take the overhead that I'm saying was like a 4, and you put it together with all of the other documentation, all of the other pieces, I say this. First and foremost, the brutality isn't the most important issue. The brutality is an issue, and it's bad, but in my opinion, you don't necessarily just die because you're beat. My issue is the fact that he died from illnesses and or injuries that are survivable if someone gets treatment, if someone gets help. And it's the neglect in this situation which is horrible. Yes, the brutality is in there. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm not an attorney. I'm not arguing the legal case of this. This is just my opinion of what's going on. Yes, Amanda, absolutely. Letting him lay there too long. That's the neglect. That's the neglect. Had they got him the help that he needed before the 18th, could he have beat this? I've had double pneumonia, and I'm here. A lot of people have had pneumonia, double pneumonia. And unless they had it back in 1800s, or unless they were 95 years old or had some other underlying condition, most people with treatment and with care are able to walk away from that. It's my opinion, solely my opinion, based on having taken care of people who have been deathly sick. I've taken care of cancer patients. I've taken care of people with dementia. I've taken care of people with all kinds of different ailments, just because that's what you do as a family member to people who are sick and ill. All right. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a lawyer, but I am a human who've had some years underneath me by now. Okay. I can tell you that it's my opinion as a nobody, check nobody, that he would have lived had they not neglected him. Refusing to give proper medical care is a big issue. It is the issue. It's the issue of the day here. Okay?
One thing I want to point out is, because the Admiral brought up the word refusing. Mm-hmm. Refusing medical care doesn't mean that he asked for it and you told him no.
Yes.
Refusing medical care can also mean you see someone sick and you don't get them help.
Yeah, absolutely.
And because the sheriff down there keeps saying he was never refused medical attention.
Yeah.
Refused does not mean he had to ask for it.
Yeah. No, that's right. That's right. And I want to be very clear in this statement. You don't go to jail for punishment. People are like, what? What does that mean? Yeah, you do. No, you don't. You go to prison for punishment. You go to prison to serve out your term, to pay your for your crime, to do your time after conviction. You go to jail for a couple of reasons. To dry you up, to make sure that you're okay to be back out in public on the roadway, to let you cool down, to give you cooler heads time to prevail, to allow people that might need to, get away from the situation that you're in with them, and to make sure that people show up for their trial. Jail is a place where you just are people dealing with people. They're not in there to dole out punishment. Okay? They are there to treat you, maybe it's not like you're at the Holiday Inn. You're probably not going to get rooms. Well, you can get room service, but it's not a pleasant room service. But they are there to take care of you, to make sure that you're eating, to make sure that you're not too cold, you're not too hot. And if you have medical issues and needs while you're in there, because you can't just leave and go to the hospital on your own. They're there to make sure that you receive a level of care so things like this do not happen. And the fact that they failed that in this situation is a problem. Okay, I just want to put that out there. Doesn't matter what else happens the rest of tonight. Does not matter what happens the rest of tomorrow, next week, next month, next year. The negligence, the medical negligence, is a problem. The neglect. Okay? So we're going to go back and we're going to watch, because I really want, and I know you could go back to the other episode and watch it, but I know that there are new people that watch different things and people that might not watch episode 6, 12, or whatever. So we're going to go back and we're going to watch some bits and pieces of the video footage that we've already watched. But before we get there, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to watch the video from this latest exclusive video from the Sheriff's Department. I filled out a request, and I got 3 videos. That's what they do. Look through the window. Put that back up real quick. They're supposed to physically go inside and make sure they are alert. I've seen many times of just window peepers, but done me no good complaining. Yeah, I hear that, Lisa. Thank you for your input. I don't know if you're outing yourself, so I don't know if it's okay for me to do that. She is a former corrections officer, so she's had experience in behind the bars on the opposite side of the glass. So this first video that we're going to watch, it's quick. It's a very quick video. This video it's a video that will show us Gulley in a medical cell on the day of Wednesday. Okay. Stand by. I want to make sure I'm telling you the right date, because these dates all blend together after a while. Give me a second. I'm going to pull this up, make sure I'm telling you the right date. Okay. So I'm going to do it like this. And we'll know. Okay. Yeah, all right. So, all right. Before we watch it, I'm going to tell you how this came to be, because I put in the record request back in the end of January, and we're still now just getting these. So I've been told, and Amanda's here. Amanda can answer this if she so chooses. And I want to be very clear. I'm not putting Amanda on the spot. I am not blaming Amanda for information that I may have been told that was wrong or things that might be off, because first and foremost, when I was first contacted by the family, they were dealing with Nick being in a very serious situation. They were hearing from doctors and nurses. They were on life support and in the intensive care unit down in Indianapolis, when he had been fine when he went into the jail. So they don't know what's going on. So they're concerned, they're nervous, they're scared, they're worried, they're all of the emotions. So when these people are telling me some things, maybe some wires are getting crossed, maybe dates are wrong, this or that, And I do not hold them to that. All right. So if I've been saying anything, because that's the information I've been working off of, and we now get something here and it's different, I want to be clear that I don't hold them responsible. I don't believe that they were lying. I don't believe that they were doing things to be facetious or underhanded. I believe that they were doing their level best to tell the story as they knew and believed it based off the information that they had at the time. And then from there, they're like, you go looking for it and see what you can find. And that's what we've done. That's what we've done here. So I was told that he was arrested on the 9th, that something happened on the 11th. Well, from the video that we have, we can see beyond all shadow of a doubt, something happened to him on the 9th. And I have so far been unable to find anything that has happened to him on the 11th. Okay. I have not been able to find that yet. And I have looked at video. So the question is, if there's video, or have they given it to me? Have they not given it to me? I have not been able to find any interaction with him in a use of force capacity of the 11th. That's important. I was then told, so okay, maybe they got that date wrong. Maybe he was beat down on the 9th and it wasn't the 11th. No big deal. Still he was beat down and still he got sick. Still he had issues. Still he was neglected. I was told that the girlfriend went in to meet with him on the 12th, Monday the 12th. And when I contacted Stacy Guffey, the jail commander, I'm going to tell you exactly how this went down. After I received the last videos and after we went through them, I told you guys at the end of the 12th, I said, I'm going to reach back out to them and I'm going to tell them that I want to see footage from the 11th and I want to see footage from the 12th. And so I got in contact with the guy down there that I've been talking to, which is John Guy. Okay, I got in contact with the guy, John Guy, and I said, "Hey, I don't think that I got everything. I was looking for footage. Let me see this here. Let me see." Okay, yeah. So he tells me on the 27th that the videos are ready. I can pick them up, yada, yada, yada. And I reach back out after I do this and I say, hey, wait a minute. You didn't send me everything. And he says, we sent you everything that we had. And I said, well, I want video of the visitation. And we go back and forth a little bit. And he said, well, you're going to have to reach out to Stacy Guffey. So I called Stacy Guffey on Friday, and Guffey didn't answer the phone. And so then what happened was, over the weekend, Stacy Guffey tried calling and then tried to text me because he was answering his call, the message that I had left. And so he texted me on Saturday after he tried calling a couple times, and he says, hello, this is Stacy Guffey. I was just returning your call. I was at a funeral yesterday, so I didn't see your message until now. I waited until Monday, the work day, because I knew he wouldn't be able to get this footage while he was at home. And I said on Monday at 9:25 a.m., I said, hello, Stacy, it's Bilbrey. If you could give me a call today at your earliest convenience, I would greatly appreciate it. I have a couple of quick follow-up questions, and John Guy and Josh Smith said I needed to reach out to you. If you could call me at your convenience today, that would be great. And then he called me, and we spoke, and I said, hey, I'm looking for the video when he went to visitation on Monday the 12th. And there was quite a pause. He like paused, like he was like thinking or whatever. And he said, well, there is no video on the 12th. And I was like, well, yeah, there is, because the girlfriend went and met with him. I know that the girlfriend met with him. And he's like, basically like, yep, nope, there's nothing on the 12th. Is that it? Like he was trying to get off the phone with me. And I said, so wait a minute here. Are you telling me that, is it your contention that Nick Gulley did not meet with anybody the entire time that he was in your facility? He never had a visitation? And Guffey paused again. And then he says, well, yeah, he had a visitation. It was the next day. And I said, what do you mean, Tuesday the 13th? And he said, yeah. And I said, okay. And he's like, well, okay, is that all you needed? And I was like, no, I want copies of that visitation. And he kind of paused. And it took him a minute for him to say, yeah, that's fine. And so we talked about how the situation is. As I've been showing you guys in the Marquette Neal video, there is video, the video phones for them to do visitation back in the block. And we do know that Gulley went to D block for at least a little bit of time, somewhere between being in medical again, and then being in the padded room. So sometime after he was put in medical on the 9th, he was then taken to the block. And apparently, from what I'm hearing, he was moaning and groaning and keeping people up, and he was hurting too bad. So they moved him back to medical. Well, so Stacy informs me that the meeting with his girlfriend was not on Monday the 12th. It was on Tuesday, January 13th. And I said, okay, so he met back in the block, and Stacy said no. He was back in medical at that time, and we have a portable video phone up here where they come and they just sit on the bench and they do their visitations. And I said, well, okay, good. So there should definitely be video of that. I want video of that visitation. I want video of him walking, getting out, whether he was walked on his own or he was carried or whatever. I want video of him sitting there and doing the visitation. And then I want video of him leaving. And Stacy says, okay, no problem. I'll see what I can do. So we end that phone call. So then I get contacted yesterday at the end of the day. I didn't have enough time to get down there, as I told you guys last night. And they said, hey, your video footage is right, yada, yada, yada. Again, it was expensive. We're talking about hundreds of dollars for these videos. They try to make it cost prohibitive, okay, but that's just not going to happen here. So I go and I pick up the video today, and they don't do it like most people. They don't put it on zip drives. They put it on CDs. They put these things on CDs, which is nearly impossible to pull the footage from, because I've got 3 extremely powerful, extremely new computers here, and they don't have a CD-ROM port anywhere on them. So, I've got to go through the process of getting a laptop and doing all that nonsense and finding one laptop that's got it and ripping it off and putting it on whatever. So we did all of that, and I watched these videos today, and we are now, ladies and gentlemen, going to watch these videos for the first time here and where that's going to be that. So this video that we're going to watch occurred on Tuesday, January 13th. So in the timeline, he gets arrested at around 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning on Friday the 9th of January. He goes to the jail. About 3:30 that afternoon is when the use of force happens and the beatdown occurs. He's then taken out of holding and put in a medical cell. He stayed in there for, a day or two, and then he was put in the block. And he was talking about being in pain, and he's brought back to he was only in there for so he's put in there Friday, so he might have been in there Saturday or Sunday. Then he was back in the block. He was only in the block for a little bit, because then he was brought back to medical. And then on Tuesday, the 13th, he has the visitation with his girlfriend, and he leaves the visitation apparently early, going by what the girlfriend said. He leaves the visitation early, and he goes back to the medical cell. And then sometime between Tuesday the 13th, Wednesday the 14th, Thursday the 15th, Friday the 16th, Saturday the 17th, then he is basically non-responsive and has to be carried to the padded cell, and then he goes to the hospital then on the 18th. Okay, that's the timeline. So we're going to watch this video, and this video occurred, give me a second here. I want to tell you the time on this video. This video occurred at 4 o'clock on Tuesday, January 13th. Okay, that's what we're dealing with. About 4 o'clock on Tuesday, the 13th of January. Okay, let me pull this up. Okay. Let's see. No, I was not fired, John Wilkinson. Never been fired from a police department. Thank you very much. I feel like I know who you are, and we'll see what goes on with that. But back to the show now. Okay. Let's see. Yeah. Window. Share. And also, I don't believe me. No, I don't need anybody to believe me. Don't spend any time believing me. Use your own eyes, use your own common sense, and don't believe a single word I'm telling you. If you choose not to, I am perfectly fine with that. That does not bother me in the least. That perfectly fine if you choose not to buy into it. I'm perfectly fine with that. Okay. Nope, I've shared the wrong thing here. Let me. Damn it. Okay, share screen. Entire screen. Share. Okay, tell me if this does it. Yeah, there we go. All right, I'm going to put this on here, and I'm going to take me away so you'll be able to just see the video. This is a very short video. This is on Tuesday, January 13th, 2026 at about 4 p.m., 16:02. Okay, so 4:02 p.m. And I want you to watch what happens here. This is Gulley going to the video phone for the visitation.
Here we go, man.
That's it. That's it. Okay, so contrary to what I was told, he's not being carried or helped by two guards. He's rubbing his chest. It looks like he's rubbing his chest, rubbing kind of his chest. And I've heard from people in there saying that he kept saying that he thought that his solar plexus was broken, is what he kept saying to people. And so he looks like he's rubbing his chest, and it looks like he might be limping a little bit, but that's about it. So here we go. And real quick before I start this, I just want to let you know, you're certainly not dumb enough to think that the subpoenas won't know, be able to lock down the IP address, and every time you've done something stupid here, it's gonna know it was you, bro. So just be like, God, it's amazing how dumb you are. Here we go. All right, so here he is. He's walking. It doesn't look in too bad of shape here, honestly. All right, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna blow smoke up your ass about this. I'm telling you like it looks. This doesn't look bad. This does not look bad. It certainly doesn't look like what he looks like on the 17th. So it looks like something happens, that deteriorates his condition between here and the 17th. But let's continue to watch it out. Okay, so that happens, and that's over. Okay, now, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to go back, and we are going to now watch the second video, which is him walking to the video phone, him setting down, and we're going to watch him go through the visitation process. So I want you to watch this, and we'll see, did something happen and he needed guards' help or something here. Okay, we're going to watch that. There are timestamps on it. There are timestamps. You guys just can't see it, but I have seen it. It's in the thing. It's in the data, and it's down below where it is on the camera. And I will fix that when I put it out. The date. Listen. I'm not lying or covering this up for them. I promise you. I want all of this to be out. The date is Tuesday, January 13th at 4:02 when that happened. What we're getting ready to watch now is just seconds after that last video. It will be Tuesday, January 13th, 2026 at 4:02 and 30 seconds. So I am just letting you know that it is what I'm saying it is. And there's no sound on this because they've said, and I mean, that makes sense. When they do the visitation, they obviously have the visitation recorded, but we are not privy to the private conversation with him and his girlfriend. So there is no sound here. Okay, he walked over there to the phone. He's sitting on the bench. Doesn't look like he's drooping or slooping. Don't know how much pain he's in or if he's moaning or whatever, but he's sitting here fine. The host is Sproles. It's me. And I'm going to fast forward this along because this is all we see. You can see he's messing with that thing still. Okay. Oops. Okay, I want to take this back and let you just see what happens when he walks away. Because this is probably the best shot of him walking. Okay. And there he was. There he was. Yeah, the mayor allegedly. And I say that just simply because this is allegedly the only visitation that he had there. So unless someone tells me something different, this is it. Okay. And then lastly, the last video that we see is him walking back to the cell. The call happened. It was just very short. And I was told that by the family that the call did eventually happen, but he ended it because he wanted to go lay down.
What do you have for? Do you have a AAA? Yet, not yet. Or
There you go. So that was that. Let's go back and look and see what happened here. I don't know. Amanda, that's a good question. That's a really good question. It doesn't look like he's using the phone here. So if you guys, I mean, I know that you guys are grieving this. I know that this is horrible to deal with this and have to deal with a bunch of questions. If his girlfriend would be willing to talk to me tomorrow, I would like to talk to her to find out what's going on, what's happening. I would like to find out, to her knowledge, did they actually talk? Did they get a chance to speak? Did he talk to her? How long did they talk? I mean, I will say I'm a little concerned, and I'm trying to say this. Yeah, John Wilkinson, we've already watched all that. And I don't know when you got in here, but we're gonna watch it here a little bit later. But we've already, yeah. Thank you. I'll let producer Kate produce the show, and you can just be in the comments. I'm the thing is, I need to know exactly what the girlfriend is got going on, because she could have been there and seen those few guys that were with him and thought like, ooh, maybe they were helping him, but they were helping him try to figure out how to do the thing. I still want to say this. This does not have anything to do with saying, well, okay, they weren't negligent, because they clearly were negligent. Maybe the beatdown, maybe the situation with the use of force wasn't as bad as what everybody thought. It looked like it was bad, but the negligence, in my opinion, has always been the biggest issue. And I'm going to let you know, I'm going to put as much of this forward. It's not like I'm going to hide this and be like, ooh, this doesn't look good to my narrative, so I'm not putting it up. I'm going to put it up, and I'm going to let it play out. I was given possibly some faulty information on this specific issue. Everything else I've been told about this issue has basically lined up. This just doesn't seem like this matches up. However, I will try to reach out to the girlfriend tomorrow and see about getting some clarification as to what happened, what didn't happen, and what's going on here, because we see him messing around with the thing. I mean, this overall video is about 7 minutes and 30 seconds. So, it is what it is. We'll have to see. I will follow up with this, but I did want to show this and put this out there. Now, okay, I want you to keep this in mind. I want you to keep this in mind, because we're going to put this video up. And this video, ladies and gentlemen, shows you shows when he's almost incoherent, moaning and drug out of medical, which you're going to see down here on the right-hand side. This is in the early morning hours of the 18th. He's down here, and he's going to be drugged down the hallway down to the padded room. Okay, and here's that video. Olivia Day, either or, I don't know. It was a very short time. I just need to get more of a timeline locked down on from the girlfriend. I don't know.
Switch over to your front. Put your leg out.
Put on, bro.
Just not the same thing. Not the same thing here. This is just very, very strange. That was totally different than what just had happened, just a few short days before when he was walking out of this room down here. Okay. We go back here and we take a look at Moore's body camera. Hillary, I've looked through the 11th and nothing was there. Yeah. Okay. Now we take a look at this. Okay. Knee on his back. I want to keep that picture there for a second. I want to keep that there. I'm going to put my little head up here in a corner. I want to put that there. So now I want to read this something to you from the newspaper. Okay, I want to read this to you. This was from Wednesday, March 4th, 2026. Family files suit regarding Nicholas Gulley's death. Autopsy rules death by natural causes. Woo, everybody's freaking out by that. Everybody's freaking out about that. Relax. Nicholas Gulley II was taken off life support February 27th and died. Machines had breathed for him and kept him alive in an Indianapolis hospital for 5 weeks. Before becoming a patient, the 35-year-old had been incarcerated at Henry County Jail. Many people in the community and online blame the Henry County Sheriff's Office for Gulley's death. The Marion County Coroner's Office conducted Gulley's autopsy February 28th and determined that Gulley died of natural causes due to complications of pneumonia. Now, I want you to know that I have issued a record request to the Marion County Coroner. I know the Marion County Coroner's Office. I have contacts down there. I've issued a records request to them, and we should have that back this week still. We should have back. Now, the only thing they'll be able to really give me is they're going to be able to give me a couple of emails, and they're going to be able to give me what's called the coroner's verdict. The pathology will take probably 3 to 4, 5, 6 weeks, maybe 8 weeks to come back. And so they will not issue a final cause of death ruling, a permanent finding of cause of death until that comes back. But they do have a coroner's verdict. And so that's what the paper is referring to when they say it rules a natural causes. But so I want you to continue listening to this. I want justice. Gulley's mother, Amanda Ballinger, shared with the Courier-Times that her son was admitted to the hospital with 2 broken ribs, double pneumonia, and a blood infection that had reached his brain. February 8th, Ballinger posted to her Facebook page, she had posted to her Facebook page alleging that Gulley had been hurt by officers at Henry County Jail. March 2nd, she posted, "I want justice. Why was he left to die after he suffered 2 broken ribs?" To the Facebook group True Crime Mysteries, Morbid Events, and More, too. Ballinger and others claim Henry County Jail officers broke Gulley's ribs January 9th while transferring him from a general population holding cell to a medical holding cell within the jail. Altercation. According to Henry County Jail officials, when Gulley was being processed into the jail on January 9th, he indicated that he might experience drug or alcohol withdrawals. According to the jail records, Gulley's urine screen reportedly tested positive for multiple drugs. Henry County Sheriff John Sproles said because of the possible positive drug screen and the possibility of withdrawal symptoms, combined with Gulley's known history of heart condition, jail staff decided to move Gulley to a medical observation cell. The Courier-Times viewed security footage from within the holding cell. The footage shows Gulley arguing with jail staff as they attempt to move him to another cell. 2 jail staff attempt to put handcuffs on Gulley. They press him against a wall while holding one of his arms above his head. Gulley appears to be resisting and arguing in the video. The officers then move Gulley to a mat on the concrete. They move him to a mat on the concrete floor. One of the officers takes a kneeling position with his knees straddling Gulley. I want you to look at this picture. With his knees straddling Gulley. The position blocks much of the camera's views of Gulley's torso. Now listen to me. Travis Week, who wrote this article for the newspaper, is always bestie bud friends with John Sproles. He's never going to do anything or say anything that's ever going to hurt the sheriff. Ever. My question to journalist Travis Week is, are you telling me that you only watched the one video, the very first video that we've all seen that I have and we'll play here in a minute? Did you just watch that? Did you request any of this other footage? Travis, did you request any of this other video? Did you watch any of this video? Because if you did, sir, there's no way you could have wrote, one of the officers takes a kneeling position with his knees straddling Gulley. This position blocks much of the camera's views of Gulley's torso. As a third officer enters the cell, Gulley can be heard saying, "My arm, I can't breathe." After a few seconds, the officers stand Gulley up with his hands cuffed behind his back. The officers and Gulley walk out of the cell. Gulley can be heard on the video continuing to talk to officers off screen. "This was the only physical interaction we had with him," Sproles said. "There's no point in that altercation. There's no point in that altercation of anyone on top of him," Sproles said. My question now is to John Sproles. John, did you just watch that one video? Did you ever watch this video? Because if you watched this video, there's no way you could make that statement that you made. There's no point in the altercation of anyone on top of him. That is not true. Moving on, Gulley was moved to a medical cell on January 9th. According to jail records, a medical assessment on January 17th indicated visible markings on Gulley, and the on-call medical provider was contacted on January 18th. Gulley was taken by ambulance to Henry Community Health Emergency Room, and he was later transferred to St. Vincent Hospital in Indianapolis. Tort claim, autopsy findings. Before Gulley died, his family filed a tort claim against Sproles in the Henry County Jail. Attorney Mark Nicholson filed the tort claim notice February 17th, naming Sproles, the Henry County Council, the Henry County Commissioners, the Office of Indiana Attorney General, and the Office of the Indiana Governor for alleged personal injuries and discrimination and harassment Gulley sustained beginning on or around January 9th, 2026. The tort claim demanded $700,000 in damages for Gulley's personal injuries. And of course, this was before he passed away. I'm sure that this is all going to change now. Okay. For personal injuries, emotional distress, pain and suffering, and all the other damages allowed under the Indiana law. According to the tort claim, the publicly available video shows at least 2 deputies on top of Mr. Gulley, and another deputy appears to be punching Mr. Gulley when he's on the ground. Before that, it appears that at least one of the deputies used their forearm to apply pressure to Mr. Gulley's neck. Following a records request, the Courier Times obtained an email from the Marion County Coroner's Office that preliminarily finding of Gulley's autopsy suggested no traumatic injuries. Okay. And I don't know what that email is based on. They didn't say anything about this. That's the reason I issued my own record request. Now, I want to say the newspaper in Newcastle is trash. Just period, point blank. Travis Week is a friend of the sheriff and, is there to basically just be state-ran media. They give a section of the paper. They give a section of the newspaper over to the guys from the Boss Hogs of Liberty, and the Boss Hogs of Liberty write for the newspaper. They are led by Jeremiah Morrill, who is a merit board member, and he was given that position by John Sproles. So I'm not trusting a whole lot of what the Courier Times is saying about John Sproles or the Henry County Sheriff's Department, nor do I care. Okay. I want to be very clear here. I want to be very clear. It does not matter that the coroner stated that the pathologist ruled the death natural causes, because let's explain it again. Dying of pneumonia and complications of pneumonia and complications of infection and pneumonia and all of that is natural. It is natural that a person dies of this disease, this issue, this sickness, this illness. It's not a disease, this illness. It's natural for a person to die of this situation if they do not treat it or seek treatment or get treatment. They will die. A person will die. You can be healthy. There's more video not shown from the AKA visit to the point they dragged him. He was in a different cell from what he went after the visit. You're going to have to give me more than that. There's more video not shown from the AK visit.
It looks like the room he went in following the visit is different from the room that they took him out of, that they ended up dragging him down the hall.
It is. Listen, the one thing that people need to not do, people got to be very careful. Listen, this is why doing what I do is difficult, because it's so easy to just draw conclusions from things and say, "Oh, look, we got you." It's not crazy to think that he went from one room to another room. Yeah, I saw that straight away. They just moved him. Maybe he went back. They tried putting him back in the block because he had been in the block, and then they'd put somebody else in that room, and they needed to move him. That's not suspicious. There's 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th. There's 5 days between the visit and when they drug him. Listen, I've also went through a lot of the video. So there's a lot of video that I've went through when I've been at the sheriff's departments at different times of just nothing happening. And that's where I have to say, okay, you're going to have to trust me. I'm not going to put something. Listen to me. I've got a whole playlist of shit on Sproles. I want Sproles to be seen for everything bad that he is. Now, what I'm not going to do is I am not going to lie about Sproles. I'm not going to say he does things that he doesn't do. I'm not going to say that that the officers or the COs do things they don't do. And I'm not going to make claims without having proof. Just cannot do it. I feel like our credibility here is when something is in our favor, we show it. When something is not in our favor, we show it. The bottom line is, I want Sproles and the people involved with this to be hit with this as hard as they can be. I am not going to cover anything up for John Sproles. Okay? Just not going to do it. So, of the lots and lots and lots and lots of hours of video that I've watched through, there's no point in me saying, hey, yeah, because let me put it to you this way. In order for me to get all of that, it would have been $2,000-$3,000 more than likely. It would have been probably upwards of $3,000. So if I'm able to burn through the video that nothing is happening, like there's just whole hours where we don't see Gulley at all. Nothing happens. There's no point in showing that. That's why I need people to not put extra shit in here. There's a rumor floating around that Sergeant Wyan resigned, that he resigned. He did not resign. He's still working there. He is fully working there. He's not suspended. He's not resigned. None of that has happened. He is absolutely still employed with the Henry County Jail. This is something that people do because they get a little bit of information and then they try to fill in the rest with just bits and pieces they've heard, things that they want to be true. That's what we have to be very careful here. And this is why I'm going to say this. And I've been talking about the brutality and the negligence. I almost wish the brutality is bad, and we can look at it and watch it, and it's bad. Every time we see it, it's bad. The negligence is where this case is going to be won or lost on. The brutality is not going to be the that okay. And so let me see here. I think that that needs to be very that needs to be. Oh, look, I'm going back through here and seeing this. It's something that people need to be very careful to not do. Okay. At the end of the day, the negligence is going to win this case. I'll even go as far as saying this. I was talking to a nurse today. It's very possible that Nick went to jail with some sort of bronchial infections, a cold or something in his chest. It's very possible that he had some kind of infection from something, maybe he didn't live exactly the best, hygienic lifestyle, this or that. He had done drugs in the past. I don't know what the situation is. Even if he went to jail with the sickness and they never, ever, ever laid a hand on him, but they don't give him treatment, they're in trouble for the negligence. That's what people need to understand. And so, and saying it'll come out in the courtroom, I want people to be very clear and understand this. You're never going to have 100% of the puzzle pieces. It might be a situation where this is a puzzle that's picked up at a rummage sale and there are 15 pieces missing. You're still going to have enough pieces to put the puzzle together and be able to tell what the picture is, but you're going to be missing some pieces, and we might not ever know. And that's just the situation. And I'm not talking about him being clean. I'm not being clean or not clean or hygienically. What I mean is, listen, he was a drug user. I don't know what kind of drug user he was. I just know that he used drugs. Does that mean he used needles? If he used needles, I don't care how clean you are. There's an issue. I'm not trying to say he did or didn't do anything. People said he smoked meth. What kind of situation is he smoking? What kind of substances are cut in with that? What they put? I'm just saying there's all kinds of reasons and ways that he could have been sick. The issue isn't if they beat him, if they didn't beat him. Look, they went hands-on with him. We know it. It looks bad. That's gonna be talked about. That's gonna come out. The medical negligence period, that is a major, major problem here. And that's gonna be a problem for the Henry County Sheriff's Department. And it's going to be a problem for John Sproles. And it's going to be a problem for the people that went in there and didn't do anything. It's going to be a problem for the people that put their hands on him. And I get, Diane said something back there. Diane said something about the, people are just concerned about the difference in the cell. Okay, and for that, I want to show you here. Bring this up. Show you. Okay, so in this situation, all right. In this situation, okay, we look where we are here. We look ADA hold 1. Okay, down here is hold 2. He comes out of hold 3. Okay, that's right, Felicia. He comes out of hold 3. And he walks down. He's walking down to the phone. Okay, we see that. All right, we put that up. When he walks back, okay, here, he walks back into hold 3. So these are just this is the same time. This is on Tuesday the 13th at around 4:15, something like that, right around the 4 o'clock period. He walks out. He's out there for 7, 10, 15 minutes, and he walks back into hold 3. Okay, so this is on Tuesday the 13th. He then went at some point to the block. Maybe he went to the block before this, maybe he went after. I don't know. But then there comes a point where he goes in here. We're going to let him go in here and shut the door.
Do you have a AAA? Yes, not yet.
Can't get it to latch.
Pull harder.
Okay, there he's locked. Okay, he goes in there, and that's it. This is, remember, in your minds, this is Tuesday, January 13th, 2026. We close this. Now, we're going to pick back up. We're going to pick back up right here. Okay? This is now, ladies and gentlemen, 5:41 a.m. on Sunday, the 18th. Okay? This is where he's at now, ADA hold 1. So there's been 5 days since he was down here in hold 3. I don't know why he got moved, but I tell you what I will do. I will contact the sheriff's department tomorrow, and I will have them explain to me why on Tuesday he was in hold 3, and I will find out why then 5 days later he was in hold 1. And when they tell me what his movement is in that period, I will then once again request that video to prove where he went. And I get it. I fully get it. There's dates and times where something could have happened, and there's still stuff. I'm going to get every bit of this we can and keep digging. I just don't want people to... I just don't want people to... Here's the thing. We hurt ourselves when we work to put more into this. When we tell half-truths, or we want something so bad to be true that we don't do the work and we don't ferret it out. When we just assume, that's a dangerous game, and I can't play it. Everybody out there, you guys are free to do as you choose. I just can't do it. We deal with the facts here, and we will have to continue dealing with the facts here. Everyone's talking about the high five, the high five back when he was first put in the med cell back on the 9th. That could have been for any number of things. Stacy Guffey didn't even know who he was. Stacy Guffey kept asking, who is this? Who is this? Who is this? Maybe he was just high-fiving that girl because he high-fives her every... I don't know. I'll ask him. I'll ask him if he wants to go back and watch it and tell me if he can remember what it was. I'll ask him. I don't give a shit. I'll ask him. Admiral says, interesting if that was true, where did the extensive bruising come from? Well, from that nurse was concerned about, and why would the jail do x-rays? Curious people want to know. I don't know. I don't know what that is. Anyways. Let me see. Was CPR initiated at any point between jail and hospital? That would be a very good question. And that would be something to know. I don't know. I don't know that I will be able to find out, but I think that Nick's mom could be able to find out. I haven't heard anything about CPR being performed, but we will definitely look into that. I think that's important. Oh yeah, definitely. CPR is very hard on a body. 100%. It appears that there's stuff on the floor in the cell they brought him out of. If that's a med cell and they're doing checks, why wasn't he sent where that was noticed? Clearly medical. Well, and I'm thinking that. Yeah. That would detail it. I just don't know that I could necessarily get that. I don't know. Maybe the parents definitely can. I'll have to look into that. Yeah, and that's right. 34 3J. He was on the stretcher. Now, things happen. He could have coded in the hospital, but I've never heard coded. He could have coded in the ambulance, but I've not heard that. I've not heard anyone say that. And that's the problem with, just starting to assume. We can assume all these things. Well, I want to read what Mary said here. Yeah. Okay. So what I think, Mary, in this video here, well, let's watch this and you'll see it. When they drag him out of here.
Switch over to your front. Put your leg out.
Hold on, bro.
Okay. So here this is, okay? And so this stuff on the floor, look, there are cups on the floor, there's paper towel, and there's all of that crap there on the floor. Okay. That very well could be vomit. I mean, I'm not trying to gross people out. That could be urine. It could be sweat, and it could be sweat, and water and just dirt. I mean, it could be any number of things. But yeah, it's very, very bizarre. Let's see here. Let's see. He's guarding that right foot. Yeah. Absolutely. He's definitely hurt. Something's happened to him here. Something has happened between the visit and here. I don't know. And yeah, absolutely. Everybody is fully aware that all of the medical stuff can be got by the family. They are aware of that. They have a very capable attorney helping them. I'm just not able, so that's the thing that people don't understand. First of all, I've been doing this for so long. I'm very well aware of government-wise, like what I can get record-wise and things like that. There's things that I can get and things that I can't get. Medical stuff, I just am not going to be able to get. There's a little bit that I'm going to be able to get from the coroner's office as it relates to the coroner's verdict and some emails. But there's a lot of stuff medical-wise that the family's going to have to get, and they're aware they can get that. They're going to get it. And if there's anything pertinent, I'm sure that we will share that back and forth with each other. But everybody's working to bring this information to justice and to bring justice for Nick in this situation. I just wanted to put this out here because today I've been hearing from everybody. Everybody's been saying like, "Ooh, this is a big hit." I've heard people say, "Oh man, the family's in trouble now." No, man. This is nothing. This is the problem is this is when people are looking at information they really just don't honestly know what they're looking at, and they don't know what's important and not important. It's not a big deal that the coroner came out and said that he died of natural causes. He did. He died of pneumonia. That's not a secret. We know that. That's a natural thing. Okay? That's why I've been harping on the neglect thing for several days now. So we're going to find out what's going on there. We're going to bring as much of this to light as we possibly can. We're going to let you guys know everything that's out there, all of the good stuff that makes our case great, all of the things that don't look so great. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm never going to hold information back because, ooh, that doesn't fit my narrative. I'm not all out of whack here. Look, the sheriff is bad. The sheriff is a nut job. And there's lots of things that he and his cohorts have done wrong. They're not all bad people. There are some things they've done right, you know. They're not all bad cops. They're not all bad jailers. They're not all good cops. They're not all good jailers. It's a mix of just like everything else in life. And so, you know, the biggest thing that we don't want to do is we don't want to assume. We don't want to jump to conclusions. And look, there's so much information here that people can talk about and share about. Please, 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 just number one, don't add in facts not yet in evidence, okay? Don't add in your own spin on it. This is like a game of telephone, and it's always bad, specifically when it's political or government driven. Everybody's just so keyed up to have that next bit of information. It takes time and it's frustrating, but the information will come out. We have brought information. To my knowledge, we still are the only platform that has brought out any of this video. Can anybody tell me, have you seen this video anywhere else? I've not seen any of this video anywhere. I have not seen this anywhere at all. So we will continue doing this. We will continue talking to our sources, and we will go from there. If you guys have information, please let us know. I don't have an issue with people contacting us and giving us information or telling us the same thing for the 10th time. That's the way it works, and I appreciate it. I appreciate each and every one of you. I don't like that Sheriff Sproles isn't being honest with his narrative. I trust that Mr. Nicholson will bring out the truth regardless of what that looks like. Absolutely. The fact that he walked into the jail on his own and was released after being admitted to the hospital. Yep. That's very wonky. That's very strange. The fact that he walked in on his own, and as a result of being there, he's now going to be buried. That's problematic. You know, like I said, it used to be a joke that, like, man, if I go to the Henry County Sheriff's Department to pick up records, like, I hope they don't stop me and arrest me because they might kill me in there. It's not a joke. I don't joke about that anymore. And Kelly is exactly correct. Dying from natural causes just means it wasn't a suicide, it wasn't an overdose, it wasn't a murder. You know, he wasn't stabbed by somebody. He didn't jump off of a building. He didn't shoot up fentanyl. Okay. He had pneumonia. And I'm not a doctor. I don't even know if I know any doctors anymore. But I'll have to find out if I know any doctors, but I'm pretty sure that if I did, I could probably find out that if someone has pneumonia and they get treatment, can they survive that? And I'm pretty sure that the answer is yes. I've had pneumonia twice in my life. Once when I was 8 years old, I was so scared. Well, oh, yeah, I forgot all about that, Dr. Callahan. I forgot all about her. What was I thinking? Has anybody seen her lately? Anyways, so I had it when I was 8, and I just knew it meant I was going to die. Because, like, I had heard people having pneumonia. That meant, like, you were dying. I've always been a hypochondriac. It's been a long, crazy life. All right. You guys have a great rest of your evening. Tomorrow, bright and early, I think at like 7 a.m., is the state of the community. The big brouhaha that the city of Muncie and Delaware County governments are putting on to talk about how great everything is and how wonderful everything is. So that'll be going on tomorrow. I'm gonna do. I hope we're gonna live stream it. I think we're gonna live stream it, and so you guys will be able to see that, and we'll keep you posted. We will be back tomorrow evening, and I don't know what tomorrow evening will be about yet, but we are getting closer to the studio saying goodbye here. I know it looks like things haven't changed back here, but this stuff is going to probably go tomorrow afternoon. These three things here. And we're getting closer and closer and closer. It's crazy. And we are going to get back to the contest. I'll tell you more about that tomorrow. I guess we'll figure out what's going on. So, all right. You guys have a great rest of your evening. God bless each and every one of you. And even Randy. Yeah. Amanda, let me see, because I need to read that message. Give me a second. I will talk about that. So there are some people, Amanda and Amber here, and people who are putting together some shirts. Oh, dude, where are you at in here? Can you send me oh, I found you. Okay, the community recently lost a very young man, Nicholas Gulley, and our hearts are completely broken. Many of you know the details of what happened, and many of you feel like we do, just like we do, that he was failed while he was in the care of the county jail. Nick fought for almost a whole month on life support as doctors tried to overcome all of his medical trauma after visiting the jail, and in the end, his mother had to make the unimaginable decision to let him rest. As the family walks through this painful time, we are asking for your support. We are having justice shirts made in Nick's honor to raise awareness. We must have the funds collected before placing the order for the shirts. If you would like it to purchase one or simply donate, you can send support through Cash App or at Cash App at $Amber Ford 69. Hey-o, $Amber Ford 69, or reach out to us and give cash. Not to me, Not to me, not to me. Not to me, not to me, not to me, not to me, not to me. We're not, I'm willing to help, but we can't take money for other people. And we'll have to let them deal with that. I'm just putting this out there. I'm reading, this is someone else's comments. And this is Amber's comments. There's a GoFundMe on multiple pages, as well as his family's page, where you can donate to help his family with expenses. Every share, prayer, and contribution means more than we can express. Thank you for standing with Nick and the family as we seek justice and healing. Sizes range from extra small to 4XL, $20 a shirt. Everyone can message Amber or comment on this post or reach Amber. I'm not going to give your phone number out. We want you to thank each and every one of you for all of your thoughts and prayers for the family and Nick. And let's see here. Here is the shirts. Justice for Nick, 8/29/1990, 2/27/2026. Yeah, it's sad. I will make something up and we'll put it up. We'll get it put up. I'll do a better job of that. And if you've made that up somewhere, I'll share it on my social medias. If you want more information about that, I'll put that on my social media, and we'll get that out so people can start doing things. I think that's a good thing. And if you're interested in doing that, that would be cool. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be it. We will be back here tomorrow. And we will see you, hopefully see you, most of you, then. And oh, what a weird show. All right, take care. Good night. Goodbye.